Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Here is Maria Rosenstock from the European Training Foundation. I would like to introduce my guest today. Maria João Alves is my guest. She works for the Portuguese Agency for Qualifications and Vocational Education and Training. And she heads a unit which oversees Qualifica centers. Qualifica centers in Portugal deal with adult learning, with lifelong learning, and they also provide services in validation and recognition of skills. Maria, thank you very much for taking your time to be with us. Maria will make a presentation that will explain the Qualifica program. And after the presentation, we will have a discussion on some more specific topic on the topic of financing the validation in Portugal. So Maria, thank you once again, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I hope that my presentation on the Qualifica program is useful. I'll do my best to make it as simple as possible in order to have time to answer a few questions related to funding, which is a main issue concerning education and training in general and adult education and training in particular. So I'm going to share my presentation. Let's see. Okay. Okay, that's it. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to as Maria said, I'm going to present the Qualifica program, which is a program established by the government into 2017 in order to enhance and promote adult education and training and the upgrade of qualifications of Portuguese adults. And you will know, I'll try to explain the reason why we need to have these kind of programs from the government perspective. So this is a policy challenge in Portugal because we still have half of the adult population who have not completed upper secondary education. So it's a lot of people that do not have the 12th grade and who are in the labor market. This is a problem that is very old in Portugal. We've tried for several times to tackle it, to solve it, but as you may understand, it is not solved from one day to another. So this is why we need to have strong political programs to enhance this upgrade for qualifications. So if we have half of the population without the upper secondary education, we have only 1/3 of the people aged 25-34 who have completed secondary education. So above all these, we also have more or less 500,000 of people who are illiterate. So we have a problem concerning adult education and training. So beyond this, we also have problems in basic skills, mostly literacy, numeracy, and digital skills. Although people can use their smartphones, there are other issues that they cannot relate very well to, and they tend to be digital. They tend to have to be called the digital illiterates. So we also want to make it easier for people to get used to the digital skills, not only the use of Facebook or any other platform on their smartphones. So the people that have problems in their basic skills also have problems to get into the labor market or to keep their jobs or to keep moving in the labor market. So this is also a problem that we want to help to solve with this program that enhances the upgrade of qualifications, but as everybody knows, the less qualified people tend not to participate in lifelong learning activities. So it is we have also to have this in mind, that we are promoting something, but we have to make it very close to the people. Otherwise, we won't be able to call them to the qualification system, if we can call it so. So what is this program? So the main objectives of the Qualifica program is to raise the qualification level of adults and their employability, because it seems to answer the problems that we have identified previously, to increase the digital and functional literacy, because today it is difficult to be a full citizen, if we can call it so, if you do not have access to the digital world. We also want to better align the training provision with the labor market needs, and this program also aims to facilitate tailored training pathways to lead to raising the qualification levels of adults. We want to have a good combination of recognition, validation, and certification of competencies, what we call in Portugal Rvcc, with other adult and training pathways. The target groups in short are the less qualified adults, the unemployed, and young NEET. This program had a few goals, and I'm happy to say that most of them have been achieved in 2020. However, we are going to keep on working within this program. So we have a network of 300 Qualifica centers. We had the goal to have 300 in 2017, and now we have more. We also had the goal of having 50% of active population with upper secondary education. We are working on it. We are still working on it because I think we could not reach fully the aim, because the aim for 2020 because of COVID. However, we did not stop working. We also want to have to reach 15% of adults in lifelong learning activities, and to have at least 500 adults in 500,000, involved in education and training in general by 2020. Now we have 310 Qualifica centers because we wanted to enlarge the network in order to give a closer answer to adult population throughout the country. What are the Qualifica centers? They are centers where the teams are experts in education and in adults education and training. So they play a key role in motivating adults for lifelong learning activities, and they also play this key role in articulating with different kinds of education and training providers, and other stakeholders in society. For instance, employers, municipalities, companies in general. So they, what we want to, for the Qualifica centers to be, we want them to be some kind of hub concerning education and training. What they do with adults, they not only provide information and guidance in order to upgrade qualifications and qualification pathways, but they also implement these Rvcc processes, which are RPL processes that allow adults to certify prior learning acquired in formal, non-formal, and informal contexts. This is very, very important in the Portuguese context. Why? Because we have a lot of people who did not go to school in the proper time, if we can call it so, because life did not allow. They had to earn money. Well, lots of things that happened in life that did not let them fulfill their studies, but they have learned things. And this is important to say, to value the learning that people had throughout their lives, to be possible to be certified compared to standards that we have, and make it valuable concerning either academic or professional certification. So when we talk about results and involvement of people, which is an indicator that is important when we talk about public policies, we are very very satisfied. We are very happy with the numbers that we have reached from 2017 till this moment. So we have more than 600,000 people enrolled in Qualifica centers, so involved within the program. More than 500,000 have already had an answer, so either went to education and training pathway, or to an Rvcc process. So most of these people, most of the people that have been enrolled in Qualifica centers have been given an answer, and more than 100,000 have been through an Rvcc process and have attained a certification. So we are very happy with these numbers. We know that they are not enough. That's why we are keeping on working with this Qualifica centers network. But I think these numbers allow us to say that this public investment is giving results. On the other hand, we've been through this pandemic for almost one year and a half, and although we had a lowering in the number of people enrolled in last year, so in 2020, the network did not stop working, and people did not stop going to the online going to the Qualifica centers, and kept on working. Of course, that we had to rearrange the procedures, but the network and the work did not paralyze with the pandemic, and this made us very, very happy. We know that we have still a lot of work to do, but these numbers give us an extra motivation to keep on doing things concerning adult education and training. So we have to, at this moment, since we have an experience of 3 years, 3.5 years with this program, we think we have the capacity now to look at it and know what's going well and what is not going so well. So in terms of strengths, I would highlight the increasing recognition on the importance of reading skills levels. Everyone knows that if you are low qualified, your problems within the labor market are much bigger than if we have more skills, and this is this awareness is raising, is not automatic, but I think we are on the good way. The positive effects of Rvcc on the individual level are also very important, because it does not only raise self-esteem or motivation towards future learning, but it gives you this idea that what you have done is important. So you can go further with the background that you have in your life. So there's an important topic also on the strength, that is the importance of aligning skills and employability, or development or recycling, or even development if you do not have the skills. But aligning this with employability is also important, not only for individual in the labor market, but also the relation that the labor market has with the individual and the public policies. If we can manage to align what we have in terms of training or recognition of competencies, with what is needed in the labor market, it seems to be a very happy marriage, if we can call it so. In terms of challenges, okay, so adult learning is still not as consensual as young people education. So it's not such a big policy priority, so we still struggle to reach this level of importance and stability in the system. Another challenge, and I think we'll talk about it a little bit later, will be reducing reliance on EU funds. Up until now, the Qualifica centers and the Qualifica network and the Qualifica program have been funded by European funds. One day, they may not be there, so we need to think of other ways of funding adult education and training. Another challenge is also improving the social value and the recognition of diplomas obtained via Rvcc, and this one is connected with achieving this wide consensus regarding adult education. So one thing is connected to the other. It seems to me that we can establish this relation. It is also a challenge still to increase the engagement of stakeholders, although we have a lot of stakeholders engaged in education, in training at large, and also being promoters of Qualifica centers. We have big Portuguese companies that decided to have or to apply to have a Qualifica center, and we have very good examples of this. However, it's not enough because we have a lot of people still needing to upgrade their qualifications. And also this challenge, and this is a constant challenge of raising awareness of the benefits of learning, and not linking only with motivational barriers. So we need to raise this awareness of the importance of the need of learning, lifelong learning, because otherwise we tend to crystallize in a moment, which is not good for us as citizens and for us as people involved in the labor market and in the 21st century. So for now, that's all. And now I'm available for the questions that Maria intends to ask me.
Thank you very much, Maria. That was a very good overview, very comprehensive of the Qualifica program. And as you said, there are great achievements. Over 500,000 already were provided with the services, and still there is still work to be done. And what we would like to ask you more specifically, as you already mentioned, the challenge of sustainable funding and financing. If you could tell us a little bit more about the costs related to Qualifica centers. They seem to be engaged in quite complex activities, from outreach to local stakeholders, guidance, referring to the training. How the system, what are the costs, and are there portions that are paid by the states, and is there any burden also on candidates for validation?
Well, at this moment, the costs of a Qualifica center that are paid by the European social funds and or by the state budget or private budgets is related to human resources. So the funding is used to pay the wages of the people who work in the Qualifica centers. The Qualifica centers have one coordinator and a few technicians who work on lifelong guidance, and also the centers also have teachers and trainers for the development of the Rvcc processes. So the costs involve this. The people, the adults who go there, so the people who are enrolled in Qualifica centers, do not pay anything for their enrollment within adult education and training within Qualifica centers. So this is a measure that intends to call people to the system and not
be a barrier.
Not having a financial barrier to be involved in education and training. The funding in general, I have to mention something that is also important. The Qualifica centers are the Qualification centers provider have different types of institutions. We have schools, we have training centers, and we have private providers. Mm-hmm. And the European social funds applies to every kind of center. However, when we talk about schools, public schools and training centers that belong to public services, there is a very small slice, 15% of the funding that comes from the state budget. On the other institutions, it does not. The funding involves the whole part of the money that is invested in this. And up until now, the work within the European Social Fund has worked well. We have three kinds of funding in Portugal mainland, because we have three different regions, if we can call it so. So the funding from the biggest slice of the funding for the three main regions, as this, the 85% European Social Fund and 15% state budget when we talk about public services. But in Lisbon, it's 50-50. It's not 85-15, but 50-50. And in the Algarve, we have 80-20. So the biggest slice is always European Social Fund, except Lisbon, because it's 50-50. The costs, the annual costs, the average annual cost of a Qualifica center, now it will be between 100 and 1,500 euros to 200 euros, 200,000 euros, sorry. And it pays only the human resources. There's an issue which is also important to mention, which is the Qualifica centers apply to funding, and they when they apply to the funding, they have to tell us how many people will be involved in the work within the Qualifica center. So what we pay the wages of the team, of course, but it is related with the people that will be involved within the Qualifica center. So
number of beneficiaries. Yes,
exactly. So it is related to the number of beneficiaries, and the funding it has three levels. So the lower level is less money, less beneficiaries, and so on. The level 1 is more money, more beneficiaries. It pays the wages of the team, of course, because you need more people within the Qualifica center to work with more beneficiaries. So the relation is this one. Yeah.
Okay, and you mentioned also that there are some private providers that participate. Do you have a lot of organizations that actually saw their chance for their own organizational development in participating in the Qualifica program? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
We have three main, as I told you, we have three main types of institutions that promote Qualifica centers: schools, training centers, and other institutions. These other institutions are private companies, are municipalities, are training institutions, private training institutions, development, local and regional development associations. So 1/3, well, we can say that 1/3 of the network is developed by private stakeholders. Yeah.
That's interesting. And Maria, with regard to the future, you mentioned that it is a challenge to find sustainable modality for financing of the system. How do you look in the future, and what are your plans with regard to financing?
Well, this is something that we are thinking. We've been thinking a lot about it, but our main challenge from the more technical point of view is to make Qualifica centers stable within the education and training system. And when you make it stable and you make it, you make people feel that it's a need, in a way or another, you'll find the money to support it. That's what we have with young people. That's what we have with other public services that we promote and that we have for as well as state provision. But we also hope that with this upgrade on this program, on this government program, not in the near future, but in the long run, we may not need such a big network, because we are tackling this problem at two levels: the level of having mandatory education and training for young people till 12th grade.
Right.
So the dropout levels are very low at this moment, which means that in the future we do not need so many places or institutions to have this investment on RPL, although it is a very important instrument of the system. But perhaps in 10 years' time, we do not need to think of 6,000 or 500,000 or whatever. That's what we hope. That's what we think, that to make it stable within the system, it will work with the mechanisms that we have within the system. But we still have, of course, I'm not a political, I'm not here in a political role. I'm in my technical role, and of course that there are things that are being thought at the political level that we at the technical level do not really are not involved, because our role here it's another. But our struggle now is to make it strongly involved in within the system.
So to make it. To make it an integral part integral part of the landscape of education and training, yes, so that people really recognize it, that it has its place there. And at the same time, once the goals are achieved, you might also consider some scaling down, yes. So in the beginning,
that's it. We still have a lot of things to do. So it's not the time for us to think of scaling down. Perhaps it's still to scale up. That's what we did last year. So we enlarged the network because we want to reach people as close as in the neighborhood as we can, because it's a way of calling them for the system. Yeah.
So that people can have services provided within their community.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yes.
Thank you very much, Maria. That was very interesting, very, very informative. We really appreciate your time and all the information you shared with us. And I wish you all the best with your future projects. Thank you once again.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.